what happened with this crisis, number one, as you said, it's not a question of judgment, but of course a mother is going to protect her children. And at the MEDEF, in fact, Elizabeth Moreno, our Minister of Women's Rights, had justly mentioned that the next day the woman became the professor. She became her HR, many of the women presidents, because she was speaking to the women presidents in France at the MEDEF. And the role of the woman was very extensive. And many times the husbands would be asked, can you help? And they would say, well, I'm working. But she had mentioned, and it is true. And I just remember I was talking to a woman who was very courageous. She was beaten by her husband. And I said, with all of the courage that these women have, we're really moving things tremendously. But the difference this time, we said, well, okay, you give us the full responsibility. Now we're taking it. And I think France, it has over 53% of the population that is the female gender. It's very important that we work towards equality. And I think that has been your battle for many years.
Yes, and you see, last year after the G7, the French government, the Minister of Finance and Economy, the Minister of Gender Equality, Marlène Schiappa at the time, and the Minister of Digital, Cédric O, then Bruno Le Maire, Marlène Schiappa, and Cédric O, gave me a special mission in the frame of the decision of the G7 on how to promote and attract women in the work of the future, that means in STEM. And I took very seriously this responsibility. I did a report that I proposed to the government and should be included in the law for the empowerment of women in economic. And of course, we will continue to work with Elizabeth Moreno, that, by the way, I'm very proud to say that she's a friend, a personal friend, and it's somebody I like very much. She has been always very involved in the Women's Forum, and I can tell you that she's a doer, she's acting. When she was the head of Lenovo France, she promoted women at all stages. Then when she went in South Africa and she was the head of Africa for HP, again, the first thing she did, she promoted women, and she brought women from South Africa to the Women's Forum last year. And I'm certainly confident that she will act. But she's not the only one. We have a president in France who really believes in the cause of women. And this is a big driver. And in other countries, it's the same. You have really this feeling.
Nevertheless, I was disappointed that he didn't take a woman prime minister. Okay. But
I mean, again.
But Chiara, you have to move back your computer. Sorry, we have to, because you're coming too close to the screen. Okay, good. Okay.
Thank you.
And I won't that.
I am at the head of the Women's Forum. Then, of course, as you, I would dream to have more ministers, more head of states, more mayors, more minister of environment, and so on and so forth. But I also convinced that we don't have to force things. Of course, quota have been a very, very good impact in the boards. And I'm very proud that France is a champion worldwide with 44% of women in the boards. And I do insist that other countries will follow by example, not only the G7 countries, G20 countries, but all around the world. This is one of the targets. But again, it's also important that in those boardrooms, you have women that can have the capacity and the power, to make the strategy. That means that they need to have, if you are in an industrial company and you're not an engineer, they don't want to listen to you. If you come from communication or from human resources, or they won't listen to you in the same way as if you're a technician and an expert. Then I always say, when you talk about mathematics, you talk about facts and figures, people listen to you. And this is the new challenge for women, to be sure that we have this competence. When you see that worldwide, you have only 24% of women in STEM, that means in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Where do you find a woman to go on the board? Where do you find the CEOs? Where do you find those who will be elected or chosen because They know how to construct a bridge or how to invent a vaccine. I mean, you see what I mean? It's important. And until now, for many years, we didn't explain to girls when they're 5, 6 years old how important it was. We didn't explain to girls when they're 12 years old that if they want to have a positive impact and work on purpose, as most of girls want to do, they have to choose this kind of studies because they give them the key to be in climate change, to be in energy, to be in real estate, to be at the head of companies. And of course, when they choose the studies when they are 19, 18, 19, same. And all during the lifelong. There's no reason that at 50 years old, a woman cannot be skilled or reskilled or skilled in new technologies or numeric or in engineering and be able to take the responsibilities we need. And coming back to the why we don't have prime ministers maybe enough in G7 countries or in G20 countries, I think that we have to be sure that we prepare the public opinion and that we had in France prime minister.
Yes, she was lovely. And her English was so perfect, Edith Cresson. I was very proud. I was very proud that day. I just remember, I still can have the same sensation when she was nominated the first minister.
Yeah, but she's still there, she's still very active. And and again, it's not only politics, it's the same in the companies. You have only 5% of CEOs worldwide. It's not enough. And of course, we deserve to be there.
Of the women working, which is even more serious. In real estate, the unions have informed me that 72% of the workforce are women. But as you said, I said, go back and do the studies because it's only 5% women leaders or presidents and not for big companies.
And look, in construction, there are only 30% worldwide. Women are not there because they don't go there. Then, how can you imagine if you are a big company in infrastructures to have a woman in the executive committee if she has not been for 20 years, 25 years active in the company, and why she should steal the place of a man? Steal, you understand what I mean? It's not steal in the sense of, I think that we should give them same opportunity since the beginning to be sure that then we prepare the right pipeline and then we arrive. And there is something that I will share with you to tell you the importance of women in STEM. We don't know what will be the jobs of the future in real estate, in nothing. 85% of jobs are being invented and designed now. Where are the women designing them? Where are the women creating them? If you're not there to invent what we want, we have just in France only 9% of women start up. Only 9%. Then if you're there to invent the jobs of the future, we will prepare jobs that will correspond to us, and we will be there to be leading, and our leadership will be capable to make the difference. And if coming back to, for instance, real estate, look when you have somebody like Mecca Brunel at the head of Gecina. Gecina is doing very well. It's among the gender equality company in France, and everybody's happy. And they have we cannot say that they are not as performant as others. On the opposite, we cannot say that they didn't dealt with the crisis worse than others, and so on and so forth. When they're there, and we have many other examples. I just talk about her because we are here in France, but you have many women extremely capable and exceptional in what they're doing. What about if there were more? But it's also a question of us women to go there. We don't dare